Hey y'all, so today I would like to share with you something that I am excited, nervous, and a little bit scared about. And this is an example of erotic shadow play that comes from my personal life that just happened a few days ago that I feel is quite raw and vulnerable. And I want to share it with you because I have this Playing in the Dark shadow work retreat coming up in October that I'm offering with Adam and Lauren Higdon, Adam Shaxfield. And this example that just came up in my personal life has really helped me to understand how the work that I've done with Adam and the play that I've had with Adam has literally changed my erotic awareness and really changed my journey. So here goes. So this example has to do with fawning. So first I want to explain what fawning is and give some credit to Louis Mojica from Holistic Life Navigation. I'll probably put a link to one of Louis's videos in the comments here, who has really helped me to understand fawning and to normalize fawning. So fawning is a trauma response. We have flight, fight, freeze, and fawn is now kind of known as a trauma response when we say yes to doing something that our bodies are a no to. And I really appreciate how Lewis and probably others have named how fawning is such a part of our culture. It's like customer service is fawning in a lot of ways, good customer service, like where we do push ourselves, good customer service where we're pushed or stepping over our own boundaries to do something for someone that we actually don't want to do, but we do it because we're being paid. That can be an example of institutionalized fawning. So just to normalize, it happens all the time. And fawning is still something that for me, I really aspire to not do in sexual and intimate situations because I want to be clear with my partners and I want to have situations where I feel really comfortable to say no to things, and I don't cross my own boundaries. So that's an aspiration that I teach all the time, especially in kink workshops and eco-erotic workshops. And sometimes it's just not how it works in real life. A lot of times it's not how it works. So this example, let's scroll back in my notes here. So this example started or happened a couple days ago. Was this yesterday? No, day before yesterday, Tuesday. Where I got into a scenario with a beloved where at the end of it, I didn't know which end was up. I felt very destabilized. And I'm going to share with you what happened and how I ended up in that place. So what had happened was he and I were talking about my relationship with the narcissistic guru type characters in my life and how I feel this simultaneous attraction and secret desire to be with someone who has these really charismatic, charming qualities and also can tell me what to do in different situations, can help me cut through the confusion and the bullshit and the complexity of the world where I live in my mind and heart, and just tell me what to do, contain me, make life simpler. And so being around those types of personalities can feel really alluring for me. And also I feel completely allergic to them. And, when I meet someone who has that personality, most of the time I'm like, nope, want nothing to do with you. I have a pretty strong radar for it. So what this beloved and I had done was we asked ChatGPT, because we decided that we wanted to play with this dynamic because he also has had some interest and some feelings about that that dynamic. So we decided to ask ChatGPT to design a scene for us, a 5-minute role play that we wanted to be alluring and funny. And we asked ChatGPT to come up with 2 different characters. One that would be a misguided guru that also had some ridiculous characteristic, and a devoted and hapless student. And so ChatGPT freaking delivered on this and came up with this really creative scene with Guru Gizzard, who sprinkles glitter everywhere, and Luna, his devoted student. So my partner had read the whole scene, and it was hilarious. There was some very funny lines in it that just made us both it really tickled me, made us both laugh a lot. And then after we finished reading the scene, my partner made a request and floated an idea out there about something that we might do together to further play with ChatGPT. And I responded with a sentence that was something like, I don't think I can handle that, but if you really want to do it, then we can do it. And then he paused and he was like, I'm concerned about what I just heard you say. And I then paused, and when I paused and reached into myself to really check in with where my yes and my no was, I told him, I was like, I came back with the response of like, I'm a yes to this part of the request and a no to this part of the request. It was actually kind of maybe the same request, but they were like, it could have gone 2 different ways. And so I had a yes and a no in there at the same time. And he was like, okay. And we didn't end up doing the thing that he had suggested, and he decided to leave. I was fine with ending the evening anyway, because I was also tired and feeling destabilized and confused. So he left, and I passed out shortly thereafter, I think because another one of my trauma responses is often, I was already sleepy, but fatigue and kind of this narcoleptic response can be a way that I just am like, enough, like this nervous system is cooked and just needs to sleep. So I slept for a few hours and then woke up a few hours later in the middle of the wee hours of the morning, thinking about how the evening had ended and thinking about the fact that I said that sentence that is basically like textbook fawning response. I don't want to do this thing, but if you want to do it, I'll do it. Like that is fawning right there. So as I really was thinking about what had happened and how I felt about it, and how I relate to artificial intelligence, which is already a very like spinny realm for me, where I feel like fascinated by it but also like totally repulsed by it at the same time, I just had all these questions in my heart and mind around like, was I fawning? Was I trying to like just cover up my fawning response by responding with those 2, by saying I'm a yes to this and I'm a no to that? Am I fawning every time I'm around this partner? Because I think partially sometimes I am. I don't know that I'm always fawning, but I always have an impulse to fawn when I'm around him, and there's a tension in my system almost all the time that can feel exhausting to navigate, actually. So then I was just sitting with the questions of kind of like, how do I even know what I want? Can I trust my yes? Can I trust my no? And at one point I got up to go to the bathroom, and I was like, and I had to leave for the airport in a few hours after that, and I was like, I don't even think I'm safe to drive right now. I feel so destabilized. I don't even know what end is up. So finally I was able to get back to sleep for maybe like a couple of seconds or minutes before my alarm went off. Got up, went to the airport. In between flights, I talked to my beloved Lauren, and Lauren helped me to normalize. Lauren's also a somatica coach and is one of the support people, co-producer with me for this Playing in the Dark retreat that's coming up. And Lauren really helped me to normalize that fawning response that I had. I think she said on a scale of 1 to 10 was like a 2. And I was like, it's true. I know it's not a super serious fawning response, but boy, did it mess with me. Boy, did it confuse me. So I felt much better after talking to Lauren. And then that afternoon, I got on a Zoom call with Adam and Lauren, and we were planning for the Playing in the Dark retreat. And I started off by just telling them that I was still kind of recovering from this whole fawning experience that I had had. And as I described this to them, Adam leans into the camera a little bit and is like, "Your fawning pussy is so hot." And I was like, "Oh, like, is it?" And we started to really play with my pattern of fawning, and I was really able to sink into and own how much, like, it does, like, there's like a pleasure to fawning, and a pleasure to, not necessarily to fawning, but there's a pleasure for me in actually being totally destabilized and being in such a powerful, like, container and space and relationship with someone that, like, I don't even know maybe where I start and the other person begins. Some people might call that enmeshment. And it can be, not a pleasant experience and can be very toxic. And in this case, I kind of liked it. And I think that's what I like about these narcissistic guru types. Is like, sometimes I think I don't even know where I start and where they begin. And I kind of like it that way. And so having Adam normalize my fawning response, not only normalize, but eroticize my fawning response, and it helped me to see that I love being in that destabilized state. I don't let myself go there very often because I often don't feel safe enough to let myself be that destabilized. And the only reason I can push into that edge of, like, getting so swirly is because I have a deep support network and I have deep relationships with really wise and wonderful loved ones who can help pull me out of it and just be with me in situations where I do get like that. I feel so grateful for being in a place in my life where I have others who can help me, and where I can even pull myself out of it. Like, I knew I would pull myself out of it even as it was happening. And that is what's hot for me, is knowing that, yeah, I'm in it, and I don't really have a choice because my feelings are kind of taken over. But I also know that I'm going to come out of it, and that feels so hot. Like, this is temporary. I have the power to pull myself out of this really fucking powerful emotion. I'm not stuck here. I'm just here because it's kind of fun in a kind of fucked up sort of way. Kind of shadowy sort of way. Yeah. 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 It feels so dark and so scary. And I think it's just part of how I'm put together erotically, that I love these spaces. At one point I said to Adam, when he was going on and on about how hot it was, of what a mess I was like, "You are so evil." And he's so not evil. Like, Adam, I trust Adam so deeply, and I hope y'all will come and meet him. We're doing a online event on August 26th that you can register for. It's a 2-hour online event for my members community. And then, we're doing the retreat in October in Kentucky. So I hope y'all will come meet him and see what you think. Adam isn't evil, but boy, is he good at, like, bringing that evil energy. realizing these aspects of ourselves that, yeah, it takes a long time to really let these parts come out, I think. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe we can just let these parts come out now, because they're coming out. They are out. They are acting out in society. I mean, look at the Me Too movement. Look at like all of the things in our culture that have been surfaced lately, um, that have always been present in our world and yet don't get talked about, really. So thank you all for witnessing my destabilization kink. You know, I'm also realizing another kink of mine is like kind of struggling in public and showing up in public in a way where I'm like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm building this bus as I'm driving it, and I'm just showing up and sharing with y'all my journey and what's hot for me, and hoping that some of y'all are crazy and wild enough to want to come join me in these play spaces, and in these really edgy ways, these edges of ourselves, where we can kind of find out more about what's possible for us. What is possible for us in this lifetime? That's what I really want to know. You know, this Tantra mentor of mine has introduced me to this concept of growing the ego until it merges with the divine. And that's what we're doing here. We are merging, we are playing with these spaces of the ego and the psyche and airing them, like making them conscious to where they can potentially merge with the divine, where those spaces, where those energies are in the same space together. Yeah. So here I am showing up in the unknown and in the vulnerability of this with y'all, and curious to see who's going to be brave enough to join us in October. Will you come? I hope so.